I am in love with my brother-in-law. I know this sounds horrible, but somewhere along the way, I fell in love with my brother-in-law, and now I can't tell if I'm ruining my life or finally telling the truth. I'm 27F, and this started way before I even realized it. My sister, Melissa, married her husband 5 years ago. He was the kind of guy every parent loved. Calm, responsible, soft-spoken, the perfect son-in-law type. I never saw him as anything more than my sister's partner until my life fell apart. I went through a brutal breakup last year, the kind that leaves you unable to eat, sleep, or think straight. And during that time, the one person who checked up on me wasn't Melissa, it was him. He'd drop by with dinner, sit with me when I cried, help me fix things in my apartment, give advice that felt way too thoughtful. He looked at me like he actually saw me, the real me, not just the younger sister. The problem? I started looking back. I didn't want to. I tried to ignore the knot in my stomach every time he smiled. I tried to shut my feelings down, but feelings don't care about morality, and mine were growing out of control. And I kept telling myself, relax, it's just emotional attachment. You're vulnerable. This will pass. But then he said something that changed everything. He said, I don't like seeing you lonely. You deserve someone who treats you the way you love everyone else. That line replayed in my head for weeks, until it became the moment I realized I wasn't just attached, I was falling. Should I stop now or keep going? Because the deeper the story gets, the worse my choices look. Comment if you want part 2. I am in love with my brother-in-law. I know this sounds horrible, but somewhere along the way, I fell in love with my brother-in-law, and now I can't tell if I'm ruining my life or finally telling the truth. Update. After that night, I kept my distance, or at least I tried. I avoided family dinners, skipped movie nights, replied slower to messages, but he noticed. One evening, he showed up at my door again, this time unannounced. He said, "Did I do something wrong? You've been avoiding me." I panicked. Lying felt impossible, so I told him the truth, or at least the clean version of it. I don't want to rely on you so much. It's not fair to Melissa. And instead of stepping back, he stepped closer. He said, "She's my wife, but your family too. I care about you. I'm allowed to care." That sentence, that tone, that was the line I crossed in my mind. Not physically, emotionally. Because when he said, "I care about you," I didn't hear it the way a brother-in-law is supposed to mean it. I heard it like a man who sees you, chooses you, wants you. That night, he stayed for tea. We talked for hours. We shared stupid stories. And at one point, our knees touched, just accidentally. But neither of us moved away. And suddenly, the room felt too small. The silence too heavy, my heartbeat too loud. I knew it was wrong, but I also knew I didn't want him to leave. Do I tell you what happened next? If you want part 3, drop a comment because it only gets messier from here. I am in love with my brother-in-law. I know this sounds horrible, but somewhere along the way, I fell in love with my brother-in-law, and now I can't tell if I'm ruining my life or finally telling the truth. Update. The shift came during a family barbecue. Everyone was outside laughing, drinking, cooking. Melissa was talking to friends. I was helping set the table. He came over to pass me the plates, and for the first time, he said my name differently. Soft, slow, almost like a secret. And then he said, "I worry about you more than I should." I froze. He realized what he said, and for a split second, he looked terrified. Then he quickly added, "I just mean after your breakup." But I wasn't stupid. He wasn't stupid. We both heard what he really meant. The air between us changed, charged, sharper than before. And when our hands brushed, just a split second, he didn't pull away immediately. That small moment played in my head the rest of the night. Later, when everyone was cleaning up, he came to help me in the kitchen. Melissa was still outside. It was quiet, almost too quiet. Then he whispered, "I'm sorry if I ever made things confusing." But his eyes weren't apologizing. They were confessing. That night, after everyone left, I stared at my ceiling until sunrise. Because for the first time, it wasn't just me falling. He was slipping too. Comment par quatre. If you want the part where everything starts going downhill, fast. I am in love with my brother-in-law. I know this sounds horrible, but somewhere along the way, I fell in love with my brother-in-law, and now I can't tell if I'm ruining my life or finally telling the truth. Update. The worst part? Melissa isn't stupid. She knows me better than anyone. She started noticing tiny things. How I avoided eye contact when he walked in. how he talked to me more gently than necessary, how I immediately left the room when we were alone, how my face changed when she mentioned his name. One night, she confronted me, casually but not casually. She said, "You okay? You act weird around him now." I wanted to die. I made up some excuse about feeling guilty receiving help from him after my breakup. She believed it, or maybe she wanted to believe it, but the truth? I didn't act weird because I felt guilty about accepting help. I acted weird because I was terrified she'd see it in my eyes. The love I was trying so hard to bury. The next week, things got even worse. Melissa asked him to pick me up from work because her car broke down. The entire drive home, he kept glancing at me like he wanted to say something, but didn't. When we reached my place, he finally did. "I think we need to talk. Alone." My heart dropped. But before I could say anything, my phone buzzed. Melissa calling. He looked at the screen, then at me, and I swear his face changed in a way I still can't explain. Jealous? Scared? Guilty? I don't know. But I know it wasn't the look a brother-in-law should have. If you're ready for the part where the emotional lines turn into something real, comment for part 5. I am in love with my brother-in-law. I know this sounds horrible, but somewhere along the way, I fell in love with my brother-in-law, and now I can't tell if I'm ruining my life or finally telling the truth. Update. It happened on a rainy Tuesday. He came to my apartment after work, claiming he needed to drop off something from Melissa. That was a lie. I knew it the second he stepped inside. He stood there, soaked from the rain, breathing too fast, like he had been rehearsing something the whole drive over. Then he said it. "I can't pretend anymore. I care about you more than I should." My heart stopped. He kept going. "I've tried to ignore it. I've tried to distance myself. But I think about you more than I think about myself lately." I cried, not because I was happy, because I knew this was the moment everything fell apart. I told him he needed to go. He didn't move. He looked at me with this expression that terrified me, a mix of longing and regret. He whispered, "Tell me you don't feel it too. Just tell me, and I'll walk away." And I couldn't. I opened my mouth, and nothing came out. That silence, that was my confession. He stepped closer, too close. Close enough that I knew if I didn't stop it, something irreversible would happen. I pushed him away. Not because I didn't love him, but because I did. He left without another word. And the moment the door closed, I realized I had just broken something I can never fix. CTA, comment final part if you want part 6, the fallout, the confrontation, and how everything ended. I am in love with my brother-in-law. I know this sounds horrible, but somewhere along the way, I fell in love with my brother-in-law, and now I can't tell if I'm ruining my life or finally telling the truth. Update. The next few days were torture. He avoided me completely. No texts, no calls, no visits. And weirdly, Melissa became colder too. She hadn't caught us, but she felt it. One night, she came over crying. She told me, "Something's wrong with him. He's distant. He barely talks to me. Did he say anything to you?" My heart shattered. She was crying about the distance that I caused. And I realized then, my silence didn't just hurt me. It hurt her marriage. I lied. I said, "No, nothing happened. Maybe he's stressed." She believed me. She had to. After that night, I made a decision. I cut them both off. I stopped going to family events. Stopped responding to him completely. Stopped letting myself imagine a world where he wasn't my sister's husband. Because loving him was one thing, but destroying my sister was another. And here's the twist. He never tried to talk to me again. He didn't fight for me. He didn't confess again. He simply slipped back into his marriage like nothing happened. Maybe he chose her. Maybe he regretted everything. Maybe he was relieved I pushed him away. I'll never know. All I know is this. I will live with this heartbreak quietly. Because this is the kind of love that can only survive in silence and die in secret. What would you have done? Be honest. Would you cut him off like I did, or confess everything and face the consequences? Drop your answer. I'm reading every comment.